Hello, everybody. Pregame press is back. We were gone for like 2 weeks or something like that, but we're back. And we got Will Stewart in the building. What's up, bro?
What's going on?
How you doing?
Excited to be here.
Oh yeah, we got you see the helmets on the table,
Sure.
so you know it's not NFL today.
It's college football,
It's
baby.
college football. We're gonna cover what's been going on, Will, in college football in the past couple of weeks. That's been interesting.
Really
Very interesting. We'd like to thank our friend Kyle Umlang from Twitter. If you're a college football fan, you saw this picture that he released of his plan for college football. So we're gonna look at that. But obviously, the first thing, if you look at the helmets between us,
We got
Texas and Oklahoma, and they're causing all kinds of problems here. So that's the first thing we're gonna get into. This is kind of be like a deep discussion video. So if you like college football, I would definitely stay. And well, we're gonna start here with just Texas and Oklahoma. They've officially made the move to join the Southeastern Conference, leaving the Big 12 with just 8 teams.
I mean, Big 12. I feel bad for you.
They're probably gonna get disbanded. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
They have to.
going to 2025. However, well, the contract
And
with the Big 12 expires next year. They could move as early as 2022.
I think they're gonna.
So
They're gonna.
we're gonna start with an easy question here. So, Will, like, how do you feel about this? Is this bad for the sport or the conference?
Well, it's good for college football. 'Cause
Okay.
More people want to watch, right?
All right, yeah,
They're gonna want to watch Texas versus Alabama versus Auburn versus LSU.
a lot of big games.
You
right?
don't always get that.
Ton of big games. Yeah.
You don't always get that. It's good for the SEC, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just bringing in more schools.
Mhm.
I mean, more money.
And
For them.
making it clear that they are the best
Oh,
conference.
I mean-
They were before. Now they add Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean,
So they're the
you
best
bring in the two powerhouses.
Exactly.
The Big 12. Now you're just above everyone.
Exactly.
I mean, as for the Big 12, I mean, it's tough.
Now they only have 8 teams.
And, like, they don't really have, like I know Oklahoma State, that's a good team.
Iowa State is a
Good
good
team.
team.
But,
But
like,
besides that, I'm
they
not
don't-
sure they have any other top 25 teams.
I mean, TCU is borderline. Kansas, no.
No.
They don't have,
I mean, no, not Texas Tech, not
They don't
Kansas,
have-
definitely not. But
like, they don't have that Oklahoma school, which is top 5.
no, exactly right.
They
I
don't
mean,
have Texas top 15, so
Mhm.
it's going to be weird. I think they're going to, honestly, I think all 8 teams are going to be gone.
okay,
I mean,
by 2025,
You said, yeah. I mean, if they don't add anyone, yeah.
they absolutely have to add some people.
You either add or you just give
Yeah,
up.
or disband. It's
Yeah,
over, right?
exactly.
And Kyle Umlang said that the Big 12 would no longer exist in 2025, which I completely agree with.
You can
And
see that, yeah.
also, Will, you know who's kind of pissed about this is A&M,
Mm-hmm.
because people don't understand this. People that weren't watching college football for as long as me and Will have been. Texas A&M moved from the Big 12
Yes, they did.
in 2012 to get away from Texas.
Texas. And what happened?
Well, guess what? They just followed them
They're back. 10 years. Yeah. 10 years
10 years
later.
later. So I see A&M's pissed.
I can see why.
Missouri's pissed
Missouri, I feel bad.
because they left the Big 12 with A&M to go to the SEC. I remember the first 2 years they were in the SEC, they
Remember
won the
that.
division.
Yep.
I went to the SEC championship to play. They played Auburn one year, and the next year they played Bama. So, honestly, I think it's good for college football as a whole.
Yeah.
Now, what I think it's bad for is the playoff. Because, Will, you have...
It's going to be weird.
Let me give you a scenario here. Say you have 12-0 Bama, 11-1 Georgia, and 10-2 Oklahoma,
And they're all in the same.
and they're all in the same conference. With Oklahoma 10-2, and their losses being to Georgia and Alabama. Then you get like undefeated. Let's go with like USC or like Oregon
Ohio State. I mean, one of
or
those.
OSU, someone like that, and they get in and they get smoked, and Oklahoma goes in their bowl game and smokes whoever they're playing.
Yep.
Because you're going to have, Will, like 3 or 4 deserving playoff teams in this conference every single year.
I mean, I'd say 4.
You're not leaving room for anybody else.
It's going to be weird.
Last year, I think they would have had 4. I think they would have had Oklahoma,
Yeah.
Bama,
Oklahoma, Bama,
Georgia,
Georgia,
Florida.
Florida.
They would have had 4.
Unless they expand the playoffs.
Or an A&M, that's 5. That's ridiculous. It's
And
not.
we're not even counting the Big Ten, Pac-12.
No, this is
That
4
is-
playoff teams in one conference, all playing each other.
That's going to be weird.
So I think it's bad for the schools in that conference because They don't know what they're getting themselves into. Alabama.
Unless.
Let's take a look at it. Okay, let's go Georgia here. Your schedule's going to get harder. You're the same team with more losses. And although if you were to take the games that you lost off your schedule, you would have been a playoff team, yet have these two teams not joined. I don't think it's good for the conference, Will. I'm sorry. I know it makes the SEC better.
And more popular, but...
And it makes it more competitive. However, more competitive is not necessarily a good thing.
Schools don't... I mean, I know Alabama, they like where they're sitting right now. Yeah, those two schools are like...
Exactly. Yeah. And keep in mind, the SEC has sent a playoff team every single year.
Dating back
till 2015 when the playoffs started. Yeah. Because the one year Bama wasn't in it, LSU was.
LSU, yeah.
They had Bama and Georgia in at the same time in 2018.
Yeah.
As the 1 and the 4, and guess who played the national championship? Bama and Georgia. On that Devontae Smith miracle 2nd and 26 play. But that was one of the best games I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Between two SEC teams for the crown of college football.
Can't get better than that.
So it's a mix here. I'm excited to see this, but at the same time, it's a little disturbing.
It's going to be weird.
It's going to be weird.
Really weird to say the least.
Now, there's going to be 16 teams once they add Oklahoma and Texas. So if they were to, what teams would you have the SEC kick out?
I feel Vandy.
You really think Vandy?
Yeah.
See, I don't think Vandy.
Well, actually, no.
Because we're talking all sports here. Yeah, yep. So baseball is completely out of the question.
I don't want to say Mizzou.
Because they just joined, right?
They just joined, but it's like, who else? I mean, not Tennessee.
Arkansas. I would go with Arkansas. The thing is, they're just getting good in basketball.
And they're going to be really good. They have a little bit, and that team's good.
The team will be good next year. What about South Carolina? Baseball, too?
I mean, they're
not as good as Vandy, though.
Yeah, they're top 20. And they're in the college playoff every year.
They are. They're in the College World Series every year.
College World Series.
They go to Omaha every year, so...
Yeah. I mean...
I'm sorry, but I would honestly kick out Mizzou.
Because
they haven't been dominant in anything.
I mean, basketball, they've been...
They were okay. They lost a lot of their last couple games.
They were good at the beginning of the year, but...
They were.
Football, they aren't. Baseball, they aren't. Those are the
three main sports we're focusing on here. I would honestly say that Missouri should be kicked out of this conference. They just joined 10 years ago, dude. It's hard to believe that.
It stinks for them.
That's the team that Kyle has,
that
he kicked out of the SEC. Was Mizzou.
Is that the only
but he also brought in Oklahoma State, which I think is weird.
To the SEC?
Yes, to keep the Bedlam in the same conference, I guess. It's still weird, though.
Yeah, I guess.
So, we're going to get into this more, but the Super Conference, we talked about now the SEC, they have 16 teams once they add these two. They got nobody. The SEC is trying to absolutely stack this conference with its will. Now, this was a couple weeks ago, guaranteed. But they have been in contact with Florida State, Clemson, Michigan, and Ohio State.
The SEC? Yeah. Well, at that point, I don't know what to say. That's just ridiculous.
Just trying to stack your conference.
I mean,
no other. If you add those 4 schools, no other conference will get revenue. I'm sorry, all the other conferences will go broke.
I mean,
they will not have a team that will be able to go to the playoff.
Yeah.
No, because Ohio State's always in it.
Alabama's always in it.
Clemson.
Georgia's
always in the race. Oklahoma. All 5 would be in the SEC.
Not counting the other main conferences.
That's ridiculous. Now, I know this has kind of been waved off, but it's still a riveting issue.
I don't think it'll happen.
Because they're still in contact. This was 2 weeks ago. They're still in contact with Florida State and Clemson. How would the playoff work?
You would have to...
How the hell would that work?
You have to change it.
You would have to either expand it.
That's what
you would have to take 4 or 5 teams from the SEC.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I don't want to.
It's not
It's not fair.
It's not fair for these other conferences.
They're not going to be able to compete with that.
They're just there. No one's going to care.
How would this affect college football? Well, the rest of the Power 5. Let's not count the Big 12 here, because that would be over.
The Big 12's already in
It's done. It's in shambles. Exactly. It's over. But the Pac-12, ACC losing their best 2 programs ever. The Pac-12 doesn't lose anybody. The Big Ten loses their best 2 programs ever.
It's just
no one is generating money.
It's gonna be weird to see if it does have to be.
I mean,
no one's gonna make money.
I mean, the Big Ten, if they want to make money, they're gonna have to go like 7-0 in bowls.
Which that's not
happening.
Let's be honest.
With these other conferences.
No.
Because guess what? If they go 7-0 in bowls, the Pac-12, that will probably most likely play some of these Big Ten teams, is now draining money.
Oh yeah. Other way around. Sure, the Pac-12 wins, then
what happens to the Big Ten? They lose revenue.
Exactly.
Wow. It's just incredible to believe that college football's come to this.
I never would have thought.
As a whole. A 20-team mega super conference.
But the idea is cool, but once you really look into it,
it's really not that cool.
It's really not that cool. Like, first picture, yeah, okay.
Well, that's awesome.
Well,
then you look at the aspects of this. Are any of their conferences going to generate money? No.
I mean,
not at all.
Some money, but not.
If you want, they're going to try to schedule non-conference games, and they're going to get absolutely smoked. So honestly, I hate the idea of this mega conference. You can add these 2, but once you go overboard,
stop.
College football. Exactly. Well, enough's enough.
Let's go.
Now we're going to get to Kyle's plan, baby. It went viral on Twitter in the college football world. And we're going to start with what he has as the Southeastern Conference. Now, Will, the only team he took out was Mizzou. All right? And he added Oklahoma State. Here we go. In the West Division, we have Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, A&M, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Oklahoma State. So you keep all of these 3 teams in the same division, which I like.
I like that. I mean, keep it,
although Auburn and Alabama have been a staple of the West for years.
Yeah.
I mean, since like the 1960s.
Forever, pretty much.
So that's a little weird to see them in the East. I like Texas and LSU in the same division. Because they played those, they were supposed to play those back-to-back games before COVID hit. They're playing this year.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. So I think, no, my bad, 2022.
Yeah,
they're playing 2022.
Yeah.
So now you look at this. I like the non-conference matchups. But let me see here. So I like Oklahoma State. I like keeping Bedlam in the same division. They kept the Egg Bowl in the same division, which I like. So, and then A&M and Texas in the same division. That is going to be beefy. Because they absolutely hated each other when they were in the same conference. I remember, I mean, I'm a Ravens fan, as you guys know, and I love Justin Tucker. And I remember when he was at Texas. The last time Texas A&M and Texas ever played, 24-25, 3 seconds left. 40-yarder, cash, silences Kyle Field for the win, and Texas got the last laugh. These 2 will play in 2025.
How long ago was that?
2012. Haven't not played since then. The anger is boiling.
Especially for A&M.
Up to this point. They're pissed. They lost at home.
They should be pissed, though.
To Mac Brown. Remember, he was still coaching Texas. That was his last year, actually. Now, anyway, Will, on to the East. Again, keeping the rivalries in the same division, which I like. Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Vandy, South Carolina, Kentucky. Those 2 were all in the East originally.
Yeah.
And they had 7 East teams. What was the other one? Mizzou. Gone. And they add Auburn and Alabama into the same division as Georgia and Florida. Hey.
Yeah, I like you like this. I
like this one. I like it.
I like this edition.
Bro, imagine Georgia and Bama playing every year. Because that game last year was incredible. Bama pulled away.
We took stats for that.
Literally at the very end, Bama just pulled away.
Yeah.
But for 75%,
it was a hell of a game.
Hell of a game.
I mean,
very competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, first play of the game, Mac Jones gets hit, falls up in the air. Richard LeCount
hits it all.
It's under that interception. It was awesome. But I like the SEC like this. Yeah, now, we'll remember, they might not add Oklahoma State and just keep Missouri. Because it'll still be 16 teams. They don't have to kick anybody out.
I mean, they don't have to.
But they could. I mean, Oklahoma State would be interesting because what if Bedlam becomes an out of conference game? It'd be weird. weird. I wouldn't like that
I don't
as
like
much.
that. It's not really like. I mean, it's still a rivalry, but it doesn't feel.
It's not as good.
You know,
for sure.
In-conference rivalries are much better.
So much better.
You know that.
So yeah, I like Texas A&M. They're in the Big 12. So good. Pac 16. Pac 16.
Alright.
They added 4 teams.
I like this.
Let's go to the north. Up north. Washington State. Oregon State.
I mean, that's fine.
And they put Utah with BYU in the same division. That rivalry. It's an in-conference rivalry
and
now.
Still have
Utah and
Washington State, Oregon State. Those rivalries.
And then 2 more teams. Colorado and the Boise State Broncos are joining the Pac-12. That division is stacked, baby.
I mean, you just add Boise and BYU.
2 of the best non-Power 5 teams.
Even if you add those 2 teams.
In this last decade.
There you go, yeah.
And then we get to
like
see them
that.
play Power 5 teams consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the last time Boise State played a Power 5 team, they smoked them.
Yeah.
Beat Florida State. 35-17, by something like that. In Florida State.
Was that the game that was like pouring rain?
Yeah.
Yep.
But honestly, I like the North Division. The only thing about it is like it's called the North Division. I know it's like doesn't really matter, but Colorado's kind of down south. But I mean,
Yeah,
it doesn't really-
but you gotta add someone.
South, old. USC, UCLA, Cal, Stanford. So they kept those 4 California schools in the same division. Arizona State, they kept that rivalry in the same division. And they add Texas Tech and TCU, Will.
TCU?
They add another rivalry and they put it in the division.
I like that.
What do you like about that?
I like TCU going there.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of TCU.
Uh-huh.
So it's really good. I actually hope that happens, man.
Hey, I mean,
that is a great idea.
imagine
The more I
the
think about it.
Pac-12 championship would probably be like, I mean, it could honestly be USC and Boise, I'm not
It
going to
could
lie.
be just a lot of combinations.
So many combos.
I mean, Oregon, USC.
I mean,
USC,
possibly
USC,
TCU.
BYU, yeah.
Because
I mean,
TCU's
yeah.
got the best defense in that division.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really like this, dude. I really do.
That's good. That's a fun division.
It is. I like that whole
Conference,
Pac-16 concept.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, you're 2 for 2, my guy. Absolutely nailed it on the first 2.
Especially the Pac.
I don't
16.
I don't think I would change a single thing on any of those.
I mean,
Maybe keeping Missouri.
Yeah,
but then Bedlam wouldn't be in conference,
and that's kind of like,
and it wouldn't be as good.
It's weird.
So yeah, I like what Kyle's been doing.
2 for 2
This is fire.
so far.
This is absolute fire. Head to the Big 16.
No, wait.
I mean,
Big
we're gonna still call it the Big 10 because
I'm gonna call it the Big Ten because I can't.
well, and because there's 14 teams right now, we call it the Big 10.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It doesn't make sense, but
the Big 10.
she's to it.
So in the West Division, they're gonna keep Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Minnesota. So we keep the Paul Bunyan axe.
Keep the ball when you axe.
I like that. They're going to add Mizzou. So now Nebraska and Mizzou going back to their old rivalry from 2000s. Like it. So they add Mizzou from the SEC. They add Iowa State to play Iowa every year.
That's probably one of my favorite rivalries.
Me and Will,
I mean, we
have watched that for years. So good. So underrated. I swear to God.
no matter how good the teams are.
No,
It's
always
it's
close.
Gonna be a game, yeah.
I mean, Iowa wasn't ranked, and Iowa State was 19, and they came into Ames and beat them 20-19.
2019, hell of a game.
That was game day that year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they add Kansas and Kansas State. Good Sunflower State rivalry, but not really like
I mean, Kansas is kind of.
good teams.
Yeah.
But they still add. So
You still have the rivalry.
I like this a lot, dude. They're
I like
kind of
that.
just matching up the rivalries, and
I like-
honestly, I'm a fan.
I like Iowa State going in that. That's real.
Yeah, Iowa State to the Big Ten is a great move.
Mm-hmm. That's
Just
great.
getting them to see a little tougher competition.
Yeah, they need it. I mean, if they're a good team, prove it.
Exactly.
Go to the Big
And
Ten.
guess what? They're going to.
Yeah.
They get it. And remember, the Big 12 is going to be disbanded. So this, or will probably be disbanded. I mean, they're not going to play in a conference with 8 teams. So Iowa State going here might actually happen.
I'm not
It's
counting it
still
out.
up in the air,
I'm not
but
counting it out.
now to the East, it's all original Big 10 teams, but they added 3 West teams. They added Illinois, Northwestern, and Purdue. Okay? And they're literally 8 teams, 4 rivalries. Michigan State, original. Penn State, Ohio State, original. Chicago, the Battle for Chicago. Illinois and Northwestern original. Oak and Bucket, Indiana and Purdue. That's a classic division. I like that.
That's
just
I
the
like
OG
that.
teams.
OG, yeah, exactly.
I like it. I really like that. So Big Ten. I like the Big Ten too. So Kyle, you have not missed so far.
He's 100% right now.
And we got one more conference.
No, one more.
The ACC, and they're adding back some of the OG teams. Let's start with the North Division. They keep Virginia Tech.
Great rivalry.
Love it. And me and Will have watched that game year after year. It's incredible.
Every year.
They keep Notre Dame. Remember, they added them in temporarily last year, but now they're keeping them in the opposite division as Clemson, which I like.
I like that a lot.
You keep Duke, Syracuse, and Pitt.
Okay.
And you add Maryland and West Virginia. West Virginia.
I like West Virginia.
An OG Big East team.
Yep.
So they're used to playing Cuse, Pitt, Maryland. They're used to playing all those teams. Louisville. I still remember that Geno Smith Teddy Bridgewater game from between West Virginia and Louisville. 54-48. Hell of a game. So Will, how we liking the division? Two new teams.
It's not as good as the others, but I mean it's still.
It's not very competitive.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like Notre Dame is so much better than all these other teams.
Virginia Tech, they're good, but
maybe I would say take Pitt, move it to the other one, and add Miami or North Carolina.
Well, I like North Carolina.
But they're in this other division.
Oh, jeez. Wait, okay, Clemson,
North Carolina and Miami in the same division.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Ready? NC State, North Carolina. They kept both of those.
Yeah.
Florida State, Georgia Tech. They kept those two. They obviously kept Louisville and Clemson. They kept Miami. They added UCF. Miami, UCF is a rivalry. Or War on I-4. War on I-4 Part 2.
There you go.
Used to be with USF. Now it's going to be with Miami. Why not?
Why not?
Dude, I love this. I love this concept. I'm not going to lie. There's some flaws.
Yeah, but I mean, there's
going to be flaws in everything. And Kyle, dude.
Honestly, it's 4 for 4.
So,
yeah.
Will, the burning question here. The question I'm going to ask you at the end of this. Is this good for football as a whole?
College football?
Football as a whole. So you can go with college football.
Are we talking all the conferences being mixed up? All these
We're talking Kyle's plan.
Kyle's plan.
Is this good for college football?
Yeah. I mean, of course I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I mean, I like it.
Okay.
I don't know how you can say it's like, I mean, yeah, you can say it's bad, but it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's
it
fun.
is exciting. It's a brand, it's like a twist.
It's going to be weird, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
It kind of sucks for the Big 12.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's only been a conference for so long, though.
Yeah.
Because it started in like 2005.
Yeah.
It's only 15 years since the last 17 years.
It sucks for them, but I mean, those schools should be happy. They're going to bigger conferences.
And getting better competition, better revenue.
I like how it's evened out.
And I like how some of the group of 5 teams that we've called in the past couple of years overrated are now moving to Power 5 conferences and actually playing
the big boy schools.
We'll see what happens. Stu, thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. Hey, college football. If you're a college football fan, tune in. All right, until then, see you guys. We got an NFL episode coming next week. Then a college football preview on the 28th because that's when college football starts. And then Sunday NFL Countdown episode 1, the premiere. Until then, see ya.